Here we are. It is draft day. We got some exciting young prospects here for you. We are picking number fourth in this draft. But we are going to be prioritizing a positional player this go around. I know we went pitcher first last year. There's only one guy to consider it for here based on what we've scouted, and I strongly feel we can get him in the second round because he's a discovery pitcher. But we're going to start things off with third baseman Jeff Fieldhouse. Solid third baseman, can play second base for us. Really decent glove. It's probably going to come in at about a 60 overall, high B potential. And he checks the box for what we wanted. We want somebody who can hit left-handers. He fits that bill. He's going to be really strong against left-handers. His plate skills are a little bit to be desired, but we can definitely work with that. Dave Prado, though, is probably like he's really who we hope falls to us at four. Our scouts have him as the number two prospect. That I feel like he's going to come in with probably like a 90 at least high B potential, but I'm thinking he's like a 90 potential, possibly a little bit higher. He may be 94. I don't know. I don't. It's very rare, but if he comes in on the high side of all that, he's pretty good. Probably going to spend a couple years in the farm system, though. I imagine he'll come in low 60s overall, but this is another guy. He's a left fielder, something we wanted to target in the draft, and he is really good against left-handed pitchers. So he checks a lot of boxes for us. So this is our 101. This is the guy we want. This is the guy we hope falls to us at four. Joaquim Fabregas here, though, probably comes in pretty much MLB ready. He's going to be 23 years old, going to be locked in at probably, we'll say 85, 86 potential, probably a 73 overall, but he's going to come in MLB ready, probably 1 year in the farm, and then he's right out into starting. He kind of fits the mold of what we have in Luis Arraez. He's got really solid contact and really solid power. He's going to have more power, I think, than Arraez, but the fact that I have Arraez already makes me not prioritize getting Joaquim here. But he is a contingency plan for us. Bryce North is a right fielder who can play left for us. He's really good overall with the bat. Arm strength and arm accuracy for an outfielder, and his fielding is a little bit to be desired. This is an all offense kind of guy. Really fast, so brings that aspect to the team that we need. And honestly, the only reason I considered him right here at the fourth pick is because Lawrence Butler has not impressed this year. He's been struggling at the plate. I've moved him all the way to the bottom of our lineup. He just hasn't looked good. Really need him to bounce back, but that's what's got me kind of considering Bryce North here. Another 23-year-old. Lock in that A potential, I think. He'd probably be a 90, almost MLB ready coming out the gate. And then another left fielder for us here. Not all the way scouted, but I like what I've seen so far with him. Don't really have any projections for him here. I'd say high B potential, probably come in high 50, low 60 overall. Really solid at the plate, good vision. But then again, like I said, it's only 55% scouted. We didn't get him all the way, and that's fine. This is very unlikely that we take him. We'll have to see how the first three picks go, but he's pretty far up there for us. Gil Vargas is the pitcher. He is a discovery guy. Our discovery found a lot of pitchers. Discovery Scout knocked it out of the park. Young man out of the Dominican Republic here. Excellent per nines. Looks to have a pretty balanced approach to control, velocity, and break. Solid four pitch mix here. I like it. I think these pitches will complement each other very well. But I don't feel the need to take him like I did with Lou Richardson. I feel like we can get one of our position players. Another discovery guy for us who I feel will fall is Diego Ornales. Looks like he might be a bit of a more of a project piece. I feel like he's going to come in on the lower side of it overall, more than likely. Kind of a Brad Guerrero kind of look, but I feel like he brings a little bit more to the table. Interesting four pitch mix here. Uh, Very incredibly fast two seam and slider, which I feel complement each other, and that sinker changeup combo is going to work really well for him. This is another guy I feel like I might be able to get later in the draft. Tom Chang excited me when we first started scouting him. 18 years old, uh, was looking like a high A potential kind of pitcher. Felt like he might shoot up the board a little bit. We have him ranked at number 11th. Overall, isn't in a bad spot for starting out. I mean, he is a lefty and he's got some heat coming off of that pitch velocity and pitch break. I feel like he's going to be an excellent pitcher. I doubt he falls to the second round for us. I don't think it's worth taking him at the number 4 spot. His home runs per 9 are abysmal, but you got to be able to hit him first, and he's got everywhere else except that is really, really nice. He does come with a 3 pitch mix that I wouldn't be too thrilled with. This is probably somebody we would add a 4th pitch to. I don't think it's completely unrealistic out of an 18-year-old to develop a 4th pitch in the pros. But he's got a really fast 4 seam and slider. Even the changeup's got some heat on it. So I feel like he could do with another pitch. Don't foresee us taking him. Given how good his pitch break is, I feel like a curveball would complement him very nicely. But in the off chance he falls to the second round, we'll take him. Ryan McDonald was one of the West pitchers that we really liked. Uh, Solid per 9, solid across the board. Feel like he's like spends a little time in Double A, moves up to Triple A really quick. 1.5 years at the minors, and he's going to be MLB ready if he not sooner. But another guy that I don't think we're going to take. I really want to go positional player here to start with. And then there's Thurman Burdick, who I desperately wanted to be a generational player. I wasted 3 weeks of scouting on him. Everything told me he was or wasn't going to be generational talent. Like I don't know why I kept scouting him. After that second week of scouting, I should have known. All the signs were there that were saying, hey, this guy isn't generational. But instead, what do? I scout the 3rd week and I wasted it. Now, if he comes out to be generational, I will be firing some scouts. And then Ralph Chanel here, only on our board because he is projected number 4 by our scouts. Left-handed thrower, really good pitch break guy, decent per 9s. I don't hate what I see here. I feel like it's a good pick at 4 if all else fails. Another 3 pitch mix guy though. I don't know what I would add to this. I mean, but given that pitch break is kind of his thing, I feel like a curveball maybe. But this is another guy. If we take him, definitely going to be adding another pitch to his repertoire. But really, what we're looking at here is Dave Prado is definitely our top pick. If he falls, if he's there at 4, that's who we're taking. Just like last time, we'll get to these first 3 showcased pitches, kind of how the game does it, and then I will make our selection, and then we will watch the first round trickle down to the 30th pick, and then from there we will be simming to our next pick. But we'll get the full broadcast of the first round. And 101 coming off the board here, it is Ryan Beach. This is a guy we somewhat scouted. We'll get a closer look at him later. We just didn't do a whole lot of scouting in the West. Ryan McDonald is the next. This is the 2 big pitchers that were coming out of the West. They looked really good. I didn't want to go pitcher, and I felt like we were wasting time scouting the West because they were the only 2 pitchers that really piqued my interest. And 3rd player off the board is going to be Bryce North, the right fielder. Interesting pick by the Reds here. Feel like you could have went something better, but hey, that works out great for me. We're gonna get our guy. But Ryan Beach, per nines aren't bad. His strikeouts per nine were pretty low for my liking. I know we only got 35% on him, uh, so there's no telling where that could have led. But I feel like it's a guy that's probably around the 60 overall range. Give him high potential just based off what I'm seeing here. And then Brian McDonald, we already talked about him. Don't need to go any further. Solid pick right here at number 2. Bryce North, though, was a very interesting pick. I imagine the Reds probably just really wanted a right fielder or needed a right fielder, but that's going to leave it for us to take Dave Prado. And I feel confident this is going to be our left fielder of the future. Next up will be St. Louis. We'll kind of see who they take. They are going to take the third baseman we looked at. Really solid guy. The only one who was really in contention that kind of made me think not Prado. But I feel like my need for left field was higher than third base. The bust, or as we determined he was the bust, so let's see, the Royals took him. We're definitely going to check that out. Because if he was generational, I'm going to be very salty. Because he just kept going down the more we scouted him. Wickenheiser, take a look at him here. Didn't look too bad, but again, he was a West pitcher. He started falling down the board pretty quick. He's got really low pitch velocity. I think he might have been injured. No, he wasn't injured. He just didn't look good to me. Joaquim would go to the Athletics. Remember that. Definitely want to see kind of how he turned out. This is an interesting pick right here. Our scouts had him 21st. He was MLB 19th. What did the Braves see that no one else saw? Or the Astros, I'm sorry. This is a left fielder. We didn't even scout this guy. And that's interesting. There's way better options at left field. Why not take Jake Foster right there? Interesting by the Rays. Some questionable picks here. Tom Chang goes to the Diamondbacks. I definitely want to take a look at him. Have to remember that. We'll get a good look at who went where, kind of how everyone's drafts kind of turned out. Brian Park was a catcher. We scouted him. I was tempted to kind of consider him at 4. Maybe if he would have fell to the second round to us, possibly. Really good bat. Going to be more offense than defense, in my opinion. Just I got depth at catcher right now. I don't know how I want to go about that yet. Beltran, all contact against lefties. Didn't like the way he looked. That's why we didn't scout him. Another pitcher that our scouts were not high on. So either they're just drafting bad or our scouts are not good. And that's going to really upset me because it's going to means we're going to have a really rough draft class if our scouts are bad. I made the decision to go with the scouts I did to try to save us money on the budget. Gabriel Gutierrez here, nothing really bad to say about him. I just never got around to scouting him, given that he was, in the 20s, and I just felt it was unlikely he was going to fall to the third round or the second round. Mark Balk, another guy who just fell down the draft board for us, so we just stopped scouting him. Jake Foster, though, goes late first round. Feel like you got a steal here. Looks like a solid pickup for San Diego. Richie Ryder was a guy who he just fell down the draft. Our scouts were not very high on Richie Ryder. Oh, discovery pitcher. This was a guy we were hoping might fall. He was going to be a high potential, high overall starting out. Thought we might be able to get him in the third round, but it looks like he got discovered. That's unfortunate. Some questionable picks though here in the first round for sure. Haven't seen anybody that stands out. Bunch of guys that we didn't scout. Looks like all of our position players that we had lined up are gone. Not a whole lot of discovery to be had at the position. Any position players. Like, we just didn't really get around to it. It is what it is. Looks like. Hold up. Okay. All right. Tripped myself up. Thought somebody stolen Gil Vargas from us. Probably gonna be our next pick if we get to it. A couple other guys here. I don't really think we had any other position players that we scouted that piqued our interest per se. Strong possibility we go all pitcher from this point out. Looks like everyone position wise that we thought might fall, in fact, will not fall. They all got taken. But we got 2 picks coming up, or in 2 picks, we'll get our selection in. And Gil Vargas is probably going to be our guy. So with the 41st pick, we're going to take Gil Vargas. Tempted to try to make that go to the 3rd round, but I don't feel like he'd be there. So you got to go ahead and take what you can when you can. Pick number 80 coming up right here, and all we have left is discovery guys. But Bo Huff was he's a closer. Closer something that we really wanted to get a hold of. Need a young closer to kind of develop. Thinking about taking Bo Huff here because I just know he won't be there in the next round. We're gonna go ahead and take Bo Huff. It was hard to take him over some of these starters. All 3 of them are discovery guys. Juan Valdez, though, really, I know he's ranked 19th by our scouts, but his per nines are not good. This is a guy that we're really going to have to develop in that aspect. He does have a 5 pitch mix, but he's a pitch break guy, and I feel like he, instead of a 2 seam, should have another breaking pitch, but I don't want to change that. Especially coming with the 5 pitch out the rip. But this is a guy I feel like we might be able to get later. I stand corrected. As I was talking about him, he was drafted by the Rockies. So now I'm worried that Diego or Cole here won't be there for our next picks. Here we are in the 4th round, pick 110, and both guys are still available. I think this is where I take Diego. Really liked what he brought to the table. No, he's not fully scouted. I think he's going to come in with high B potential, mid 50s overall, probably. 5th round pick, and Cole Conley is probably about to be that guy. David Lucas not only is injured, but he has terrible hits per nine. We only scouted him to 50%. I feel like the injury is going to be detrimental to him. The problem with this is Cole Conley is the last guy we got scouted, I think. Just taking a look here, yeah, we got 2 guys left on our team board, 1 guy left that we scouted. Got some guys that we discovered that were late. It's just everyone that we scouted got taken in this draft. So we're gonna have to just really hope we find somebody we like. We got time. So we picked out some relievers we liked, and unfortunately, all of them got taken. David Lucas is the only guy, and he's injured. I'm just not comfortable doing that. So we're gonna take a flyer on the reliever here. Probably not somebody that's gonna end up looking too well for us. We find ourselves here in a possible trade, closing on the trade deadline, right? And the Padres are in the wildcard race. Obviously, we have no shot at the postseason, but they got a young catcher. Catcher somewhere I want to improve at. They have Ethan Salas. He is at the AAA level right now. He probably finished at AAA here with us. Wouldn't bring him up to the starting roster, but we have something that piqued their interest, and that is Jonathan Cannon, who's having a really good year so far. Hate to see him go. They do need a pitcher. He kind of fits the mold. He'll probably slot into their starting rotation. And then we have Dylan Moore, who really hasn't done anything for us, but has the potential to kind of bring some stuff. I know he's in regression, but he's a solid utility player that I think a playoff team could benefit from. And the Padres seem to agree. So we're going to send 2 guys over to kind of help them. And we're going to get Ethan Salas, and we're going to kind of see how he develops for us. But that obviously creates a need for us at pitcher. The Orioles have Dean Kremer here, 30-year-old paying him basically $10 million to sit on their AAA roster. But we have Dominic Fletcher, a young prospect at center field, which is a need for the Orioles. So we're going to absorb the high contract. They're going to get away from it. And then they're going to get Dominic Fletcher and have team control over him. We'll kind of see what Dean Kremer does for us. Looks like the San Diego Padres weren't done. They're going to acquire Michael Rowe in exchange for the young prospect Johnny Gramling. Dodgers also pick up Vinny Pasquantino, Quintinho, however you say his name. Here we are back. Unfortunately, I was not able to finish the last bit of the episode in one video. I had some bad weather rolling in, but we're going to get it completed here, going over our draft picks, and Dave Prado was and is as advertised. Solid pick for us here. We really wanted to go after a guy who could hit lefties. See him being in the minors for a couple years. We do have a bit of a log jam at left field right now. We'll kind of see how that develops, but he's not really good defensively. He's more of an offensive player. I think we may start working on his defensiveness. Mainly his arm strength. I'd like to get his arm strength up. That may be what we focus here at the beginning of his training. Gil Vargas, I don't feel like we missed too bad here. Right around kind of what I expected from him. Solid with, per nine. This is going to be a guy that develops for a little while. He's going to be some depth. He'll be able to come into the Double A. Possibly going to be moving a couple of those guys up to Triple A. Just kind of depends on how our pitching staff kind of rotates in the offseason. Bo Huff was an absolute slam dunk in my opinion. Don't know that he'll start as a closer for us. I'll probably put him in more as a reliever instead of a closer in the AAA. Given that he's 23, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that he would develop a fourth pitch, but I think I'm just going to leave it with the 3-pitch mix there. I don't know. If I added anything, it had to be a 2-seam, but I think I'm going to leave it as a 3-pitch mix, but really good hits per 9. The rest of his per 9s aren't too terrible. Guy that we can develop in our farm system. So, quality pick there in the 3rd round, in my opinion. Ornelas, though, bit of a bust. His potential is a little bit lower than what I'd like, but it's also why we didn't take him as high as we did. I'm not sure we got a full scout on him either. Another guy, we'll see how he develops. That 82 potential is really going to hurt, though. Very high velocity, though. I do like his pitch mix. We'll kind of see. Hopefully, he can get that potential up. For another guy that we're going to see in the farm system quite a bit, most likely. Connolly, we didn't really want to draft him. Kind of got stuck. No better option here. A little bit on my part, though. I wasted some weeks scouting. And when we got to the bottom, it is what it is. But Connolly's not bad. 4-pitch mix. Another guy that'll probably spend some substantial time in the farm system. 82 potential kind of hurts, though. But Taylor Robinson, feel like a bit of a Hail Mary pick. Didn't have a whole lot to go off of there in the last round. The one guy we had scouted was injured. Didn't want to take a role on him at all. Needed some depth at reliever, I feel, anyways. And this kind of works out. Not too concerned with his 77 potential. 57 overall starting out. 21. Development's probably going to be slow, but I feel like it's a guy we can kind of bring up in our farm system. Decent stamina for a reliever, in my opinion, so he'll get plenty of opportunities. The Boston Red Sox, Brian Park, I really wanted to see kind of what he looked like. Unfortunately, the Red Sox, or no, it's the Guardians, sorry. The Guardians would miss out on signing quite a few guys, and their draft, the ones they did sign, were just complete misses, in my opinion. So, not a good draft by them. Detroit also looks like they missed quite a bit on their draft. And here's the guy we wasted so much time, Thurman Burdick. Yeah, definitely not a generational player like we unfortunately thought. I just so desperately wanted there to be a generational player. I just really did feel like it'd be good for the series. But no one really pops out here for the Royals. Twins, I don't think they picked up anybody we scouted or kind of looked at. It doesn't look like they had that great of a draft. Their best being Enrique Arnez here. Astros, though, took catchers back to back. That's interesting. Looks like they got some guys that are project pieces. Gabriel Gutierrez was a guy we did look at, 85 potential, 57 overall, though. That's tough. I don't think he was ever really in consideration for us for the most part. I can't remember if that was the third baseman we looked at. A little hazy right now because, like I said, the draft happened on a different day, unfortunately. Joaquin Fabregas, though, looking like a guy who's pretty much going to come in MLB ready, really good against righties, decent against lefties. Your atypical first baseman right here. I don't think this was a bad pick. If we would have took him at 4, it wouldn't have hurt my feelings at all. They went back to back first baseman. That's interesting, but Fabregas was their only good pick. 3, they took 4 first baseman. That's crazy. They need to fix this. Harold Lloyd was another third. I do remember looking at Harold Lloyd. He pretty much ended up how I thought he would. Wouldn't have been a bad pick for us either. And third base is something that we're gonna eventually have to address, I think. Ryan McDonald, a pitcher that forced us to waste a couple weeks in the West. Not that bad of a prospect, to be honest with you. Wouldn't have been a shame to take him at 4 if he would have fell. If we were looking for a pitcher, he probably would have been higher on my board. I feel like positional players is what we need to address right now. Steve Beltran. I do remember this name. This is somebody that we also strongly considered. If I remember right, though, we did not have him fully scouted, but 64 overall, 91 potential. A couple years in the minors. This guy's going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, especially against lefties. Contact guy for sure, though. Richie Ryder. This was a pick that surprised us from them. He went before somebody else we looked at. He kind of is right about where we thought he was going to be. They do have a 99 potential shortstop here. They took late. He's going to be a project piece for sure, but that 99 potential is nice for the Phillies. Bryce North was the right fielder that we strongly considered, but given that we have a right fielder as of right now, Lawrence Butler needs to wake up, but he was pretty high on our board. The only reason we didn't take him was our native left field. They got 2 high potential right fielders. Not bad for the Reds. William Cho was a shortstop that I did look at briefly. I don't think we scouted him, but he did have some interesting things about him, but his potential dropped way lower than I thought it would have. Mark Balt, this was I remember when this pick was made. I did think it was very questionable. He just didn't check enough boxes for me to consider him a first rounder. Looks like they recovered well with a decent reliever, though. Fieldhouse was the third baseman that was the highest on our board, though, and yeah, his potential dropped way lower than I thought it would have. He's a little bit. I'm glad we missed this one. Not a bad pick. Definitely somebody who could develop. Tom Chang, though, this was the guy. This was my favorite pitcher, I think, in the first round. Actual potential at 84. It's a bit rough, but this was his home runs per 9. Absolutely killed it for me, but he brought a lot to the table that I liked. Strongly made me reconsider taking a positional player. If we would have picked middle of the first, if we picked 10 again, I probably would have went Tom Chang. Definitely needs another fastball or fast pitch in his mix, but we don't have to worry about that. He plays for Arizona. Jake Foster, that was our number 2 left fielder. Went to the Padres. Definitely like what I see here. Wouldn't have been upset if we ended up with Jake Foster either. Pretty solid pick in my opinion. Nice pick right here by the Giants. Decent center fielder, a lot of speed and a lot of power with the bat. Fielding and arm strength is a little bit to be desired from a center fielder. Possibly, if you can't get that trained up, you have to, you're looking at a DH guy. Boston with a solid pitcher right here in Nino Arena. I remember seeing the scouting report on him, and he's about exactly where I expected him to be. Break pitcher for sure. Not a huge fan of break pitchers that throw right-handed. A little bit of velocity, not enough for me to really entice. I don't mind where Boston took him. It's probably right up there with Tom Chang, in my opinion, about where I felt with the pitcher in the first round. Five pitch mix is nice though. Ryan Beach though, this was somebody we scouted him a little bit. He was part of our West, a lot of velocity coming off. I wasn't sure about this pick from Toronto. I remember when they made it. He's a lot better than I thought he would. Very high potential. Probably the best pitching prospect in the class that I've seen so far. So a solid pick by Toronto. Had I scouted him more, maybe he would have ended up higher on my draft board. But I don't know that it would have ever made me not take the left fielder we took. And then Ralph Chanel was a guy we were looking at. I was hoping he was going to fall a little bit further. I hate we missed out on this one. Development piece for sure, but was hoping we would have got him. Shane Baz, though, on the other hand, absolutely having a phenomenal year. And I know we still have 2 years of team control, but I'm thinking this might be our first big contract extension. He wants a lot of money over 5 years, 21.3. I think he's worth it. I think it's 6 years though, because that gets us to him being late or into his 30s. We get a good feel for him. He's looking really good. He's developing well. The almost 22 mil a year though has me hesitant, but I feel like this is our guy. I feel like this is something that we got to do. And yeah, so I went ahead and did it. We pulled the trigger. Shane Baz is locked up for another 6 years for us. And now that we've concluded trade deadlines and the big extension, the draft is over, we're going to get into the showcasing of Drew Thorpe. Been meaning to get some games in of him. He is having a phenomenal year with the Charlotte Knights at the AAA level. So I felt it was only right, especially since he's a prime candidate to come up in September and potentially make the opening day roster next year. So get us a good look at him here. Looks like they're going to try to start with a bunt. That was interesting. First pitch bunt. Feels a little bit disrespectful. We'll get his full pitch in, or the full pitch count in for this pitch, and then, as usual, we'll go to action pitches. And we're going to start us off with a nice little strikeout. Great start to Drew Thorpe's day. Been kind of trying to decide what to do training wise with Drew Thorpe. He's got some pretty solid per nines. I think I want his velocity to come up, and man, that's unfortunate. First inning home run. That guy absolutely smashed that. Was not expecting that to come, especially from Drew Thorpe. I think the problem there was he left a breaking ball at the top of the zone. I can't fault him for it. Break pitches are his strikeout pitches, so see how he recovers from it though. Need to see some serious recovering right there. Show me that you deserve to be on the big league roster. Second baseman's going to stop that from going to the outfield, but can't get it to first in time. Nice play to at least stop it though. It still led to a single that I would have liked to see him catch it and then make that play at first. They're going to smash one out the center, and it's not going to get down. 2 outs, runner on first. Not a bad start. I'm not a huge fan of the home run. They're going to get us a strikeout here, though, to end the first. Bringing us to the second. And now we're going to get these action pitches in. Looks like they're making solid contact. Only one of them's gone the distance, though. And we've made some roster adjustments based on moves we made. May make some more after this game. I don't know yet. We're very much lacking at our farm system for the positional players, anything defensively really, and our offense isn't great either. Decent outfielders. Infield is just really, really suspect as Drew Thorpe zips in another strikeout. So, recovered from his home run he let in the first, so I'll accept what we're seeing right now. Second baseman should have attempted to make a better play on that. It's going to lead to a single. Like I said, the defense behind our pitchers in the minor league system isn't the greatest, and I feel like it kind of inflates some of those totals, some of those ERAs. Get us a nice little strikeout again from old Drew Thorpe. Doing pretty well with his pitch count, in my opinion. He's not getting into very long battles, which is what you love to see, especially for somebody you're trying to bring up to the bigs. But in a way, I've predetermined that I'm going to bring him up in September. I feel like it's just time for him. And I need to know what we have in Drew Thorpe so that I can kind of start planning what I want to do with our pitching staff in the off season. Working through the lineups pretty quick. Already to the fourth here. 44 pitches thrown. I'd say he's commanding it pretty well. They are getting a hold of him. That one's going to actually get down in the right field corner. Going to lead to a double. But yeah, so they're making solid contact. I'd like to see that kind of go down, especially if we're going to bring you up to the bigs. But overall, season-wise, he's been doing pretty phenomenal. The rest of our pitching staff, most of the prospects we're looking at, we got one more in AAA, and Hagen Smith. Haven't really talked about him a whole lot, kind of waiting to see what his development looks like. He might be a candidate that we kind of showcase in next season. He's not anybody, obviously, that we drafted or signed or traded for. He's kind of just been getting a little luff in the ump right there. We're going to get us out of the fourth, though. Looks like we tied it up. Offense finally starting to show up a little bit in this game for us here in the fifth. But Hagen Smith is somebody that we'll kind of keep an eye on. I have liked how he's developed over these 2 seasons. So he's somebody that we're now considering as a potential piece for the future. But everyone else is obviously at the AA level. And then we got us a new crop of pitchers coming in as well. A couple of relievers to kind of maybe check out. Don't know how I'm going to do that because I typically do not make the subs when we're watching games. So it might be something where we have to, sim into a certain point in the game and then force the pitcher in to get some looks at him. I haven't decided how I want to do that yet. Get some swinging on that inside circle change. So Drew Thorpe's very capable of making some big plays with his pitching. Looks like our bullpen's starting to warm up here in the bottom of the 6th, signaling the potential end to Drew Thorpe's day for this game. I need more contact like this. Don't mind the little pop-ups that just don't go deep into the outfield. Got us a nice little 4-1 lead here. 0-2 pitch, 2 outs. And another inside pitch. He's making him swing on that inside stuff, which is, you love to see that. Need more of that, less of the other stuff. And that would be the end of the day for Drew Thorpe here. Charlotte Knights are going to get out of here with a win. Solid outing from the man himself, Drew Thorpe. He will get the win, making him 14-2 on the AAA. Next game up for Drew Thorpe. Sim to a new series so we didn't see the same batters. I kind of wanted to see what he did against a team that's really been solid in AAA in terms of hitting. And leadoff batter is going to find that right center gap. As you saw there, we did make the decision to move Braden Montgomery up to the AAA level. Our center fielder at the AAA level was struggling. I felt like it was just time for Braden Montgomery. They're going to find the right field there. It's going to put 2 on. No outs yet in the first. 3-1 pitch coming. And they smashed one to the left center gap. We're going to get it, but I think it's going to bring a guy home. It is. So they're going to get their first run in the first inning. We have no outs. Need to see Drew Thorpe kind of recover here. It's a rough look for him. And then the right fielder attempts to make a big play right there. Would have loved to have seen that. It's unfortunate. It's going to juice the bases, though. Love the attempt from the outfielder there, but need to work on that execution for sure. And we're finally going to get our first out. That's that pitching clutch kind of coming in for you. He's got bases juiced for sure. Strikes out the next guy, so maybe he can work himself out of this jam. That would be nice to see from Drew Thorpe. We've already thrown 33 pitches in the first inning. Might be a short day for him. And gonna get that free run off of the walk. This is just a rough look for Drew Thorpe. And they get a hold of one. They're sending it deep left field, and it is going to be a grand slam. That's an ugly look for Mr. Drew Thorpe. Can't say I'm too thrilled that he allowed that one. It's a very rough first inning for the young pitcher. Makes you wonder if he's ready to actually be called up. And Charlotte Knights coach said, it's going to be it for you today, Drew. So he will not even escape the first inning. You get one really good game from him, and then a complete disaster where he doesn't even pitch a full inning. And the Barons would get absolutely decimated in that game. Next up, though, didn't want to watch any more with Drew Thorpe for obvious reasons. We're going to get us a look here at Ronnie Wells, a pitcher who has had a very up and down season. Started rough, kind of got better, got rough again. We pulled him out of the starting rotation, and then with the injury to Joaquin Nunez, found himself back into the starting rotation and has performed quite nicely, so really is deserving of a little spotlight. So we're going to get a quick game of him. Starting off really good, 2 quick outs. They're going to smash one deep left, and it's out of here. So, Ronnie Wells now lets up a home run in the first inning. Hopefully it's just some first inning jitters for him. I would love to see him recover, because that is not a good look for the young pitcher, especially in his spotlight debut. 3-1 pitch after the home run, and they're going to smash another one left field, but it will not be deep enough. Need to see him put pitches in there that get less contact like that, because he will get absolutely shelled. They're going to send it to left field again. We would have some offense of our own in the top of the second, so 2-1 here. Would love to see Ronnie kind of maintain this lead. They're going to find that gap perfectly, and it's going to lead to a base hit. Second baseman there, as you've seen through a couple of games, has not looked great for the Barons.
Take your base, ball 4.
And now Ronnie decides he wants to juice the bases, but he walks his first batter. 3-2 pitch, bases juiced, no outs. Need to see better from Mr. Wells. They're going to find the left center gap. It's going to bring a few runs home for him. So we give up the lead there. Still no outs. Runners on the corners. Another 3-2 count. So he's not working through his pitch counts very well. Gets a man swinging there, though, for the first strikeout and first out. So would love to see more of that, but I need to see him work through these pitching battles a little bit better. He's getting down in the count, and it's putting him in quite the predicament. I think they're going to get a sac fly run right there. Yep. 4-2 now. Runner on first, but we do have 2 outs finally. I'd like to see Ronnie Wells escape the second inning right here, and it looks like he's going to. They get a hold of it, but it's not going to go deep enough into left to do anything. Bring us to the end of the second, finally. 3-4 game now. Barron's offense trying to keep it in the game. Ronnie Wells needs to wake up a little bit, in my opinion. Gets a quick out there. Love to see that. If we can get more of that out of Ronnie, that'd be great. I don't know how deep into this game he'll go. Gets himself another nice strikeout. So, looks like a bit of a recovery inning for him. Love to see that. Bottom of the third. And they're going to sneak one right by him. I wish he would have had that. It's going to send it on the ground to center. Nice little base hit for the opposition. So now you got 2 outs. Runner on first. See what Ronnie does. And they smash it to second. And he's going to take the easy out at first. Questionable there. Felt like the play was at second. Cutting a little close in my opinion. Almost an error. And then they're just going to send it right to first base to start the fourth. See if we can get ourselves another quick out. They're going to pop it up to right field, easy out. So possibly a quick fourth inning for the young Ronnie Wells. Shortstop, can he make the play? He does. So recovering quite well in my opinion. Still a 3-4 game. Ronnie would come out for the bottom of the fifth. They smashed one deep center, but not deep enough. We get there for it. Next batter up. Can Ronnie Wells put this one down as well? They're going to send it deep left. And it's going to find the ground for a ground rule double as it bounces over the fence. So now we got a runner on second. 1-1 pitch. Ronnie's going to send it to the shortstop. And it should be the easy out at first. And it is. Does not advance the runner. 2 outs. See if Ronnie can get us out of this inning. Get us out of this jam. Give our offense a chance. Uh-oh. And we just barely get the out. Nice recovery from old Joe Ridley. Ronnie would come out for the 6th. He's going to send one right into center field. It's going to get down. Not the way you want to start the inning here in the 6th. Trying to come back and get a win here. Believe it's going to be the end of the road for old Ronnie Wells. Pitched a decent game. Nothing to be too upset about. But the manager feels we need to make a change to turn the tides in our favor. And it would not. We would get absolutely shelled. 4-12. So that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. I got some good showcases in. Really good game from Drew Thorpe, and then a really, really bad game from him. And then got to look at Ronnie Wells. Wasn't sure if we were going to actually be able to get a look at Ronnie Wells in here, but we did. We got us a really solid draft, made us some moves at the trade deadline, and got Shane Baz locked up to the big deal. Next up is September call-ups, and we'll kind of go over what I'm thinking in the next episode. I got a few things I want to look at, some things to think about. If we bring up Drew Thorpe, who replaces him at AAA, I really would like to see Drew Thorpe in September and kind of make a determination from there with him. As you see, we're having us a phenomenal year, going 51-86 to this point, and a lot of questions still to be answered. Get out. Still a lot of questions that need to be answered to this point. And we'll get to the bottom of it, though. We'll definitely get to the bottom of it. Need to see a lot better offense from this team and a lot better defense, but I feel like we got some pieces in place, and then it's going to be interesting. But in September, I definitely want to get a few looks at Shane Bass since we just signed him to that big contract. So we'll probably spotlight him a little bit, get a look at a couple other guys, and kind of go over what I'm thinking leading up into the off season because we are obviously not going to make the postseason. But thanks for watching. If you've made it to this point, give me a like, give me a subscribe. That way you can keep up to date with what's going on with our Chicago White Sox. And as always, let's go Sox.